Hey critics, and welcome back to the Critic Chronicles YouTube channel where you get commentary reviews and tabloid news. I'm your host, Patricia Hartley. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. We are live on this Saturday, March the 7th, 2026. Hey critics, it's time to chronicle. Up first, y'all, happy Women's History Month. We just celebrated, of course, Black History Month last month. Shout out to everybody who has been checking out the uploads that I did. You know, I did my own form of Vlogmas on the show where I basically reviewed the Jenna and Chanel show, but then also put some fillers in there throughout the weekend so that I could fulfill the Vlogmas and upload every day in the month of February. So if you get a chance to check that out, please do. And I would love your feedback. Tell me how I'm doing. I need to know, don't be afraid to put a comment below, okay? I also wanted to highlight, of course, Black excellence gracing the cover of the latest magazine. So let's talk Black on the cover, y'all. On the cover of Billboard, there's Giveon, there's Simon Gabriolo. I don't know if I'm saying the last name right, so I'm sorry about that. And then Shy Alexander as well. They're on the sports issue. Esquire magazine has ASAP Rocky on the March 2026 issue. Veranda, which is the Hollywood issue, has Shonda Rhimes on the March-April issue. Harper's Bazaar has Michaela Cole. She's on the Legacy issue. Hook and Barrel has Mr. Steve Harvey on the March-April issue. Looking good, Steve. Time Magazine has Teyana Taylor, Woman of the Year, March 9th issue. Variety Magazine has none other than Miss Keke Palmer on the March 4th issue. And Essence has Taraji P. Henson on the latest issue. And the issue before that actually had Monica and Brandy. So I am subscribed to Essence Magazine, so that actually comes to my house. But they are also available via Hoopla, which is a free streaming platform made possible through our local library. I also wanted to quickly talk a little bit about National Library Week. We'll be celebrating that here at the Critic Chronicles. It's going to be April the 19th through the 25th this year. So celebrate with us by just tuning into the channel during that time. And of course, for more information around Library Week, as well as the month to get your library card, they promote that, I believe it's during the month of September, but here we promote it each and every day, honey. It ain't never too late to get that library card, okay? But for more information around Library Week, you can visit the American Library Association at ala.org. As a reminder, here at the Critic Chronicles, our goal is to provide quality but juicy content from websites, digital magazines, and tabloids, most of which are sourced from our public libraries. Research from the National Library of Medicine show that there are an estimated 17,000 public libraries nationwide, totaling 4 million visits each day. Public libraries are civic organizations that are committed to providing invaluable resources beyond books that are free and open to the public. Get your library card to access thousands of resources today. Hey critics, let's go Black on the inside of People Magazine's March 16th issue. Up first, want to start off with some good news, baby, because Jennifer Hudson is going to be returning for another season of the Jennifer Hudson Show. She's been renewed for a 5th season. Now, she did say that she could not be more honored to continue this journey, but I got to make a side note and say that when Sherry Shepherd's show, unfortunately, has not been renewed, but she's still shopping around to see where she could actually host the show. But one of the comments she made was, she said, "We don't got no spirit tunnel over here." And I laughed because that is a highlight of Jennifer Hudson's show, is that spirit tunnel. It really is it's a movement by itself. It's one of those topics that you talk about that has nothing to do with the show. It has nothing necessarily to do with what they talked about on the show, nothing to do with Jennifer herself per se, but just the fact that her staff has that spirit tunnel. I mean, that really has made a difference in the show. And while I won't say that I think it's the reason that it was actually renewed, I believe that it only enhances the show and takes it to the next level. And as a reminder, Jennifer Hudson was asked about the individual that she thought did a good job with the spirit tunnel, like one that actually stood out, and you will be surprised who she said. I will link actually who she said in below, but I actually talked about that on a previous episode. Yeah. Let's go into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Well, they've released their nominees, and those nominees include who else but Lauryn Hill, and it was perfect timing because, she, of course, performed at this year's Grammy Awards. Also, Mariah Carey. Me and Mariah go back like babies and pacifiers. Not really, but the song says so, right? You got Pink. You also got New Edition, Luther Vandross. Luther. Shout out to Luther. May he rest in peace. And of course, Wu-Tang Clan is also going to be a part of those nominees. So shout out to all of the 2026 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominees. Sterling K. Brown is on page 58. He's talking about season 2 of his brand new show, Another Day in Paradise, in which Brown says gets bigger and more intimate. They're opening up the season 2, according to the report, with the love story between him and Shailene Woodley's character, Annie. Okay. If y'all have been keeping up with that show, be sure to let me know below. Y'all know I'm not really big on keeping up with a whole lot of shows, but I will say that I started watching The Burbs with Keke Palmer, and baby, I like it. And I'm not even into like horror or into like, listen, y'all know probably from listening to me the past almost 2 years that I am really into like the girly movies. I'm really into like, just stuff that really make you feel good. Not nothing that's gonna scare me or I gotta think too deep. I gotta do that on a day-to-day basis, child. I'm trying to escape the real life, So, but I will say The Burbs, it has that edge to it, that suspense, and of course, in my opinion, sort of that scary factor if you're like me and you just don't like a lot of scary stuff. But yeah, The Burbs with Keke. Yeah, I've been checking that out and I actually kind of like it. So shout out to Keke. And I will say that I was judgmental because, when it comes to casting, I feel like I'm good at sort of that component of things. And I was concerned about what because she looks young in general, she's not, her look though is very young. So her being a mom and all of the things, I was like, okay, what is that going to translate to like on screen? But she does a fantastic job of that, I feel. Transition. So yeah, shout out to Keke for The Burbs, as well as all of those who are actually featured in the film, the TV series as well. Let's talk about these Screen Actors Guild Awards. Well, you know what? Let me give a congratulations before I get into the SAG Awards to actress Viola Davis. She has a novel that's coming out with novelist James Patterson. They wrote a book together. It's called Judge Stone. They're hoping to spark conversation with the book, which is a Southern legal drama about a teenage abortion case. Well, James was interviewed by People magazine, and he said that this collaboration came about after he read Viola's memoir, Finding Me. And he thought to himself, man, she's a great storyteller. Well, Davis says she just wanted to make sure that she was worthy of working with, of course, novelist James Patterson. And of course you are. Sometimes we say to ourselves, like, should we be doing this? Even people at the peak of their careers, right? Even they question certain things, right? But listen, Viola, not only are you worthy, honey, but it's here now. We got it. We got the final product, and that's what matters the most. Now, Viola did say that when she heard the premise, she said she felt like it was destiny. She said that she also said that collaborating with James was the very foundation of being an artist. And shout out to James, who says that when he comes to writer's block, for example, I think the magazine may have asked him, he say never. In fact, he has writer's diarrhea, not diarrhea. When you walking down the hall and your pants are falling down, diarrhea. That's probably not something. Let me stop. Well, all right, James. Their book called Judge Stone is available via Libby, actually, to place on hold, and I've actually placed mine on hold already. It's set to release though on March the 9th, so here in a few days. Viola's memoir, Finding Me, is available via Hoopla, and it's available right now on that free streaming platform, of course, made possible through our local library. And since we're talking about Viola, let's go ahead and get into the Screen Actors Guild Awards, the 32nd Screen Actors Guild Awards to be exact. One of the red carpet highlights for me, though, was that of Teyana Taylor's daughter, Rue Rose, who truly showed out on the red carpet. She was helping her mama, like, not only with her dress, she was also helping her to keep some of those reporters in order, baby. She was snatching up microphones. Y'all done let this young lady snatch up the microphone. But special shout out to Jenna and Chanel's show for highlighting the moment where the 5-year-old brought her mama to tears in a heartwarming interview with Justin Sylvester from E! News, that also I feel like left him speechless as well. Now, this is the only one I'm actually going to point out and let you listen to, but there were several times, I believe also the one that she did with Nichelle from over at Entertainment Tonight. She was also snatching up her mic. I think she sung a whole song, the Let It Go song by from the Frozen movie, but she said, I'm gonna do it in a different voice, is what she told him. Okay, but that's not what we're gonna be listening to. This is her taking the mic actually from Mr. Sylvester. So let's take a listen.
She can bring it. Oh, look at her. Hold a minute. What you gotta say?
I want to say, this is such an honor for me being here. And I wanted to thank you guys for my mom and this wonderful day. And all of y'all outfits look very good. And I'm mostly saying this for my mom.
Oh,
You guys.
now, of course, she went on to say a little bit more, but I'll link that below. But it was such a nice, cute little moment, of just reality and just seeing it from a child's perspective when the world has not tainted their life, what I'm saying? So it was nice to see that. And Teyana was so emotional. Yes. Okay. And Mr. Sylvester was like, honey, take the microphone. Just snatch it up from me. So yeah, congratulations to all of those who received awards at the Screen Actors Guild. And special shout out, of course, to Michael B. Jordan, who received the SAG Award for lead actor in a movie for his role in Sinners, and a now viral meme moment with Viola Davis, who was very excited for Michael and led the cheers. She even cheered for him as he made his way to the stage. Later in the ceremony, though, the Sinners cast, including Wunmi Mosaku, as well as Miles Caton, Delroy Lindo, and of course, Haley Steinfeld, they also took home the award for Outstanding Performance by a Cast in a Motion Picture. It was a dominant showing for a film that has steadily built awards momentum, says one article. And I feel like it was the perfect win for him, the cast of Sinners, and also Delroy Lindo. It's what they needed after that racist and embarrassing outburst at the BAFTA Film Awards recently, where Tourette syndrome campaigner John Davidson shouted the N-word while Sinners stars Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo were on stage. To follow it up, though, there was an opportunity for the racial outburst at the award show to be edited out. However, they did not even do that. They did edit out other parts, though, of the show without a problem. Sinners, though, won for original screenplay as well as for original score. However, there was some information that was released to everyone prior to the ceremony. So before the ceremony, apparently there was a manager who warned the audience members that there might be some involuntary noises or movements from John during the ceremony. And Variety reported that John shouted, "Shut the FUCK up," during a speech from BAFTA chair Sarah Putt and FUCKU while directors were accepting an award for a different category. So with that being said, it just kind of still, in my opinion, did not give an excuse for why this particular part of it was not edited out. The BAFTAs host, his name is Alan Cumming. He's also a part of Traders as well. I think he's a host of Traders, to be exact. He went on to tell the audience, which included Prince Harry, of course, Princess Kate, because this is a show that happens over at the UK, saying, you may have noticed some strong language in the background. This can be part of how Tourette's syndrome shows up for some people as the film explores that experience. Thanks for understanding and helping create a respectful space for everyone. The announcement, though, was not included in the TV broadcast, which the BBC aired roughly, they say, 2 hours after the live ceremony. So again, you didn't edit this out, and then you did not even include this apology from Alan Cumming in the public broadcast. You only included that at the ceremony where the folks were in attendance. But again, this is something that also should have been, the audience should have been privy to, but also the folks watching it should have been privy to, because it was happening in front of everyone. It wasn't an isolated thing that was just happening with the audience and the folks at home couldn't see it, right? Although the BBC also issued an apology saying that the BBC have apologized for not initially editing out the use of the N-word, some viewers may have heard strong and offensive language during the BAFTA Film Awards 2026. This arose from involuntary verbal tics associated with Tourette syndrome and was not intentional. We apologize that this was not edited out prior to the broadcast and will now be removed from the version on BBC iPlayer. So they did go on to do that for the future of it. But again, this aired. It was not that part was not edited in terms of the N-word, but other things were edited. Specifically, I think somebody said something about Palestine, but they made sure to edit that out. They didn't miss that part, but they missed the part when it came to the N-word. They issued an apology, and again, that apology was not a part of the public broadcast, so people did not hear that. And if you didn't follow up to read on the story, I'm sure you probably may not even know that that is what happened. But in my opinion, there was just negligence there that garnered concern for the level of respect for BAFTA that BAFTA had for their Black members of the organization. Why were certain moments edited, y'all, but not the moment of John calling the two Black men the N-word? Why was that not edited? The speech was given about, Palestine. Y'all didn't leave that out. Is it because somebody thought that it was okay to use a historically racial slur in a public setting in an attempt to get a reaction out of two Black men? Maybe not, right? Maybe not. Or maybe it was just to humiliate them during the peak of their careers, as one critic implied. And who edited the show? Maybe that person need to be fired. I think we can do all of this speculation or just make an honest decision of what feelings say, and even the facts. This was intentional. This felt like it was on purpose, right? Davidson was diagnosed, though, with Tourette's as a teen, and also spoke out, telling Variety that he was deeply mortified if anyone considers my involuntary tics to be intentional or to carry any meaning. And to me, that's a different conversation. The real conversation is really around the fact, in my opinion, that BAFTA did not edit it out, but they chose to edit out other things. Yeah. BAFTA did, though, acknowledge the severity of the incident. They apologized to Michael B. Jordan and also to Delroy Lindo, and all who was affected. However, I'm not sure that everybody felt like it was truly an apology. American production designer Hannah Beachler, she wrote this on Twitter. She says, "I keep trying to write about what happened at the BAFTAs and can't find the words. The situation is almost impossible, but it happened 3 times that night. And one of the 3 times was directed at myself on the way to dinner after the show. I understand and deeply know why this is an impossible situation. I know we must handle this with grace and continue to push through, but what made the situation worse was the throwaway apology of, if you were offended, at the end of the show." Yeah, they did not edit the term on purpose, in my opinion. Go look at that executive team and that 14 board of trustee members on their website. The only BOT member that looks Black presenting is Addie Rockcliffe, who leads the diversity, equity, and inclusion team. Okay, and what I'm finna say is basically based off experience. It has nothing to do with them. I'm not saying that this is them directly, but my experience has been, when the problem does not directly hit home with the leadership that's a part of that organization, good luck making a change that will shift the culture inside the organization. There may be some little things, but are those little things going to make a big difference? And once that person who identifies as Black is no longer a part of that board, is that going to then disappear? Are we no longer going to bring that in as a thought, as to think more about folks of color being on television and what that looks like? Are we representing whatever her job might be? Yeah, in my opinion, again, just going back to the fact that it was intentional. There was a lack of care. And I think that folks who are Black, who are a part of the BAFTA organization, if they wanted to protest the organization or no longer be a part of it, I personally get it. But what I think is that BAFTA needs to make sure that going forward that this doesn't happen again. Because, again, it's just one of those things that's just, there's no excuse. You can put all the apologies out there that you want to put out there, but you're looking real guilty. And the guilt comes with the fact that you edited other parts of it, but you didn't edit that part of it. These people know what they're doing. And there's no excuse. And also, just so that I can end this story on a positive note, there's a nice story about the entire family of Michael B. Jordan that I will leave below. But it just kind of talks about his mom always being a part of the arts, his brother as well, who just recently had a viral moment that was hilarious to everybody, and also his sister, who is in the industry as well. So congratulations again to Sinners for all of your awards that you're winning this season, and good luck at the Academy Awards. Is going to be coming up this upcoming, not tomorrow Sunday, but next Sunday. Yeah. Moving forward to Megan Thee Stallion, she's going to be making her Broadway debut March the 24th through May the 17th. The article says that the Hot Girl Spring is coming to NYC, and I agree. Okay, she's going to be in the Broadway production of Moulin Rouge, the musical, for an 8-week limited engagement. Theater is definitely a new opportunity that I'm excited to embrace, she says, and she's going to be playing the role of Zidler. Congratulations, Meg. Come on, girl, do your thing. And speaking of doing their thing, Corrine Bailey Rae, she's celebrating the 20th anniversary of her soulful hit, Put Your Records On. Go, put your records on. Play me your favorite song. Yeah, go ahead, put your head down. Yeah, I think that's how it goes. That song was inspired as a result of her putting on her dad's records and listening to Stevie Wonder. And the UK singer and mom of 2 daughters wrote her first children's book to complement that monumental milestone, which was inspired by her daughters as well. She also recently performed on Today with Jenna and Chanel, and I've linked that performance in the show notes. I was glad to see something about Corrine Bailey. I hadn't heard about her in a while, like in terms of mainstream. Now, small things, yes, but not in terms of like mainstream media. I feel like she's kind of been out of the spotlight, or at least when she comes, it's kind of in and out. It's not like a consistent thing. She's one of them people that come in, I do my work, baby, and then I'm out. But I believe one of the reasons initially was that she was kind of out of the spotlight is because after her first album, she lost her late husband, who she was with for 7 years, and she was working on her second album during that time. But his name was Jason Ray, and he died of an accidental drug overdose in 2008, according to reports. TheGuardian.com did follow up and say that although she didn't immediately release her second album, she did do it within 2 years in which she was working on it. And although her albums after Put Your Records On have not necessarily reached the same success, her album The Sea was nominated for the Mercury Prize in 2010, and the song Green Aphrodisiac was one of the Billboard's top R&B songs in 2016. And of course, recently in 2024, Black Rainbow was again Mercury nominated. So congratulations on your latest nominations, Corinne. And also looking forward to you going back out on tour, it looks like. Yeah. Hoopla, though, as a reminder, has her 2005 debut album, Corrine Bailey Rae, her 2016 album, The Heart Speaks in Whispers, and her live album, which is a complement to her debut album called Corrine Bailey Rae Live in New York, is a treat. So be sure to check that out if you can. The book, Put Your Records On, is available to place on hold via Libby, a free streaming platform made possible through our local library. And when Corinne was asked about who she's listening to for inspiration, one of those people was actually Jill Scott, which actually transitions me perfectly into the fact that Jill Scott is on page 50 and 51 with a nice spread after 10 years of a break. In the article by Janine Rubenstein, Jill reflects on motherhood. She talks about heartbreak. She also talks about the healing power of music. And just like Corrine Bailey Rae is listening to the new album, so are all of us, Jill Scott. All of Jill Scott's fans have weighed in. They're so excited that she is back. I also did a spread on Jilly from Philly, and I will link it in the show notes along with her Tiny Desk concert. Jill says that she is relieved to have her album finally released and that fans are actually responding. She says that growing up in Philly, it was tough for her and her mom at first, but her mother taught her to always keep looking for the beauty in everything, no matter what. She also shares how being revolutionary in your own skin is always empowering. And at the beginning of her career, she was told to lose weight. She was told that, the hair that she had, it was natural, but she was told to straighten it. But she said she glad she ain't listened to none of that shit. No, she didn't say it like that, y'all. Side note thought, to me, that's what neo soul is. It just kind of gives you permission as a music genre to just be the depth of yourself and to be the unique person that you are. It like embraces the uniqueness of who you are, On this album, though, Jill says that she lays it bare. All the pain that she has faced from her past relationships, like her contentious divorce, it says, from businessman Mike Dobson after their 2017 split. But even in her relationship woes, she says she has no regrets in spite of that. And although keeping things to herself is a treat, she also believes that an artist is meant to bear the soul. Her son, Jet, though, is her greatest joy. And she's taken the past 10 years that we've missed her to really kind of focus in on making sure that he was great so that she could get to this current place in her existence. She also continues on saying that I've been waiting to be this age and in this place my whole life. I'm speaking from time and growth, some failures and beautiful successes. I'm really happy to be here, and we're happy that you are back, Jill. There's, of course, several resources on Hoopla for Jill Scott, including her debut album as well. Of course, we shared some resources throughout the show as a result of being a member of our local library, which is a perfect segue as a reminder. Here at the Critic Chronicles, our goal is to provide quality but juicy content from websites, digital magazines, and tabloids, most of which are sourced from our public library. Research from the National Library of Medicine show that there are an estimated 17,000 public libraries nationwide, totaling 4 million visits each day. Public libraries are civic organizations that are committed to providing invaluable resources beyond books that are free and open to the public. Get your library card to access thousands of resources today.